Welcome back, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Alyssa here.
Marlene. Hi.
And this is...
I'm Marlene.
That's Marlene, and I'm Alyssa. And this is What's Your Favorite...
Scary Story.
Yay, what's your favorite scary story? Welcome back. In case you don't know, we put out episodes every Wednesday, and each week we cover a topic sent in by one of you guys. Anything spooky, literally urban legends, ghost stories, cryptids, aliens, all sorts of things.
What you found in your mom's drawer.
What I found in my mom's drawer? Oh, wait. Oh, are you just being funny?
I'm just being funny.
Okay.
Like a scary story.
I was like, what was in my mom's drawer?
No, not your mom. I'm just saying what you found in your mom's drawer.
Oh, yes. That it could also be a topic.
It could also be a scary story.
It could be a scary story.
Who knows?
But yeah, just let us know what you want us to cover next. You send those suggestions to what's your favorite scary story
at gmail.com.
So anything that you find fascinating, if you have your own personal scary story, like something you found in your mom's drawer apparently, or if you saw a ghost or aliens or anything like that, we just want to hear all the suggestions, all your stories. Send them in, please.
Thank you,
and good night. Except we have a whole podcast to do.
Right.
But yeah, as we mentioned last week, we are going to the Conjuring House. We are actually currently recording this before we go there.
Right.
So unfortunately, this episode, we will not have stories to tell you guys, but we will definitely have them next week.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be appropriate, since we're doing a little spooky road trip, that I cover each one of the places that we visit.
Okay.
So this week we are doing the Conjuring House.
Ooh, okay.
Because I figured we just go in order of how we visit everything.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so unfortunately we won't have Conjuring stories for our Conjuring episode.
Right.
But we will have it
next week. Okay.
Yeah, so these, this little section of 4 weeks, because if you missed the last episode, Marlene told us a little spooky sea folklore that ended up being completely from SpongeBob, with a hint of truth in it.
It was a good one.
It was a good episode. You should go listen to it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 recommend.
Thank you.
But this month is going to be the only time basically where we're picking the stories, just because
to give you guys time also to send in suggestions.
To send in all your millions of suggestions.
Yeah.
And
it just happens that this trip just lines up with just giving you guys time to send in suggestions and anything spooky you want to hear about.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
anything before we get into things? That was kind of a quick intro that we just recorded.
Yeah, I do want to mention something really quickly. So I forgot how it started, but I was at lunch with Alyssa a day ago or something. Yeah. So I want to bring this up because this is a very interesting debate. So Alyssa said, we were out to lunch. It was like she had a sandwich and some soup, and she was like, "Babe, do you wanna bite of my? How did you say
I don't know.
Do you want to eat some of my?
What? No, you know what it was.
Do you want to eat my soup?
So we were going to lunch, and I know she gets sandwiched out pretty quickly, and they have mostly sandwiches, but I was like, well, they have other things like soup, and then she goes, well, I don't really eat soup, we'll drink soup. And I was like, drink soup? Excuse me?
Yeah, because that's appropriate. That's the appropriate term.
Okay,
drink soup.
Listen,
you cannot bite liquid.
I get the concept of it, but eating doesn't necessarily equal biting.
Right, eating is just the act of swallowing.
Consuming food.
Yeah, I guess consuming.
Right?
Swallowing. Consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds weird to me. Like that.
Drinking soup sounds weirder to me. I've gotta say.
Well, it's because we just associate it to strictly
drinks.
Beverages.
Beverages.
But soup is a liquid. And if I wanted to, I can put it in a Stanley cup, keep it warm, right? Because Stanleys are supposed to keep it warm and cold, right? Or something like that.
I don't know. I knew it was supposed to keep it cold.
I don't know about warm, probably. If you have a Stanley cup, please let me know.
There's also a thermos is a thing.
Right.
But then when you take your thermos to work or school or whatever, you pour it into the lid, and then you have a spoon which you eat it with.
Or you can just slurp it up and drink it.
What if there's vegetables or potatoes or chicken in there? You're eating that stuff, right?
So that's an exception, I would say.
All
You're
right.
drinking your soup and eating the chicken.
Okay.
Noodles, whatever. So I still think it's drinking.
I could say drinking like the broth of a soup. But it's not always like broth necessarily.
I guess.
But soup is in its entirety. Also, we were saying, I was like, I feel like you could just say like, oh, do you want to try some of my soup? Oh, did you want some of my soup? You don't have to say, do you want a drink of my soup? That's weird,
You
right?
want a sip of my soup?
No, that's weird.
I guess.
I feel like it's weird.
I don't know.
No judgment.
We'll put this in this week's poll.
Absolutely. No judgment if you're on her side.
Eating soup or drinking soup?
It just sounds weird to me.
It's just,
eat your soup, kid.
You know what? We're in the year 2024. It's about time we change
our verbiage.
Verbiage, yeah,
Okay.
So.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, justice for soup.
But yes, please answer our poll. And please be unbiased. All you Marlene fans out there, don't vote for her just because you like her better.
Yeah, well, if you vote for me... a vote for me is a vote for tea. So
it's a vote for 4 more years of soup.
Soup kid never drank the soup. Oh no, ate the soup.
See, you're confused yourself.
Soup kid never ate the soup. Soup kid never ate the soup.
But he did though. So
well.
Anyways, let us know your thoughts.
That was random. But I had to mention it because it was very important to us.
We were going to bring it up last time and we forgot.
We don't argue often, but when we do, it's usually based off of stuff like this.
The stupidest things you could imagine.
Like, babe, no, babe, what are you talking about? You drink soup, babe. What are you... So that's usually, So...
But yes, please let us know your opinion. It's very important for our research.
Right.
In this topic.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up.
Nothing else?
Nope.
No things that are just dying inside of you to get out?
No, I guess I got a new video game yesterday and I've been kind of...
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's called The Crew. It was, it's originally released by Ubisoft, which was fun because I helped...
I was going to say, did you work?
Yeah, I did work on, the kind of premiere thing. The premiere before the premiere, it was, kind of I didn't actually go to it.
Uh-huh.
I know, my other, other people I worked with, went to it. I, personally was not invited.
Rude.
I was just invited to the dinner, which was actually still pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, but I didn't get a chance to go to the actual showing, but
you worked on this stuff.
I did work on the stuff, which was really cool. And I went to dinner with the people from Ubisoft, which is probably cooler than the event itself.
Right, that was more private.
Right. And I didn't pay for anything. And everyone got drunk, so it was awesome.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, Conjuring?
Enough of my bitterness. Let's talk let's talk about spooky stuff.
I didn't get an invite to that a year and a half ago.
Technically, it was a year ago.
Was it only a year ago?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year when I worked with Ubisoft.
Seems like forever ago. Yeah. It's like a whole different you.
Yeah, I know. It's weird how how people change and how us as human beings are allowed to evolve. We are not our pasts, and we are allowed to continue to grow. Azul.
Amancada. Privada.
I think we made this joke last week.
We absolutely did. Which was yesterday.
Right, technically, yeah.
But to them, it's been a whole week.
Yeah, to everyone else, it's a whole week. But I think we made this joke yesterday. Anyway, yeah.
Anyways,
I'm done.
Conjuring?
Yes,
Sound
please.
Good?
Yes.
Shall we?
I'm just trying to just chill out for a bit because this Conjuring story, I'm a little familiar with it, so it kind of spooks me out a little more than the other scary stories. So,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm just trying to push it back, push it from
from happening.
But well, okay,
I'm gonna ready. Happen. You're gonna just have to accept it. We're heading over there tomorrow.
I know. I haven't like fully processed it yet. I'm very good at deflecting my thoughts and my worries, and
you're the kind of person that doesn't get nervous until they like get up to the front of the line for the roller coaster. But then when you do get nervous, you like are about to have a panic attack.
Yeah, because I'm very, very good at like deflecting my anxious thoughts. Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? That's like literally, I am the master of like, this isn't happening right now, so I'm not gonna fucking worry about it.
Right, makes
which
sense.
Is a great. I love living life like that because I used to be the opposite.
Right.
You know, I still am, I guess. But I'm more anyway. It's not about me. Let's do Conjuring.
Let's just do it. We're gonna rip it off.
It's not my diary here. I'm sorry. I should stop paying my therapist $180. I could just talk on here.
You can.
Shit.
So this whole thing is us just talking.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So
I'm also like drinking a blue drink right now. So if you hear some Ice Cube ASMR.
Like what? How does it go in the Out of the Box song?
Yep.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
It's that one.
Very nice. Okay, we're gonna stop.
Conjuring.
Conjuring, yay.
Conjuring box.
Conjuring box? Out of the box.
Yeah, out of the Conjuring box.
Except everything's staying in there.
Yeah, it's not allowed to
exit. Okay, I'm gonna start because I feel like I'm deflecting at this point now too.
Yeah, okay. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So the story has a very expansive history, going back hundreds, even thousands of years before the house was even built. The land was originally occupied by the Nipmuc tribe as well as other local tribes. So in the 1630s, a man named Roger Williams...
Not the other Williams.
Which Williams?
The other Williams.
A guy?
Yeah. Robin Williams?
Robin, not Robin.
Rip, bro.
No, it was not Robin Williams who did this. This was Roger Williams, and he purchased the land as part of the establishment of the colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations. He was expelled from the Massachusetts Bay Colony for supporting freedom of religious worship and separation of church and state.
So he was like one of us.
Well, he established Providence plantations.
Oh, yes.
So not quite the same. In Narragansett, Rhode Island in 1636.
Yeah, no, because plantations are like...
Plantations
slaves.
are bad. They're just always bad. I mean, this was in the 1600s. It was just like what happened, unfortunately. Right. But at least actually, he had some good morals.
Some good morals. It just also makes sense that like he was expelled from the north.
Right.
Technically, right? Like...
From Massachusetts,
yeah, which is the north when the whole...
I mean, yeah, it went like 1-2 states over, but yeah, regardless, like, he was standing up for what was right, and was it that a thing then, like separation of church and state and everything like that?
Yeah, but back then there were still a lot of, what's the word? Puritans, and the Puritans were very, very Christian.
Right.
Yeah, because they came from England, which is the king at the time, probably. I don't know British, UK, English history like that. But, yeah, and, like, they believe that the person on the throne was given that position. It was like a God-given thing. So it was very Christian over there. And so a lot of Puritans that came over here still believe the same thing, trying to, place their own beliefs on here while America was still being built.
Right.
Because this is technically before America was built.
It was.
1776, is it?
Yep.
When they signed the Constitution or whatever?
The Declaration of Independence.
The Declaration.
Which, of course, we even lightly touch on that.
The Declaration of Independence?
And you brought it up early.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Every single time.
I didn't even know that it was going to be brought up.
No, I know. You never know. That's why you always say things early.
Well, I literally didn't.
I know. It's
that's
just
weird.
Funny. You always do it. It's not like important or anything. It's just funny. So in 1639, Gloucester, which is now Burrillville, Rhode Island, became part of Providence plantations, including an estate that was deeded to the Richardson family.
Because they're rich? Like the richer son.
I guess.
The richer
I
son.
guess that's how we get our names, right?
Yeah, the richer son.
So would we be called the Hungries or the Sleepersons?
The Hungersons.
Hungersons?
The Hungersons. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So the land was then deeded in 1680 and was surveyed by none other than John Smith, one of the original Virginia colonists.
John Smith, like the Pocahontas one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other John Smith before.
in the colonists, you know?
Yeah, that's such a generic name.
Yeah.
John Smith.
So our boy Roger Williams, he wanted to preserve his land, right? So he thought the best way to do this was to deed large parcels to the people that chose to follow him in his teachings. So he did this to protect the land from an imminent intrusion from Connecticut and Massachusetts. So the original estate that was deeded to the Richardsons was more than 1,000 acres, and it was sold off in parcels to families in the area. And some descendants of these families are still living in those places today.
Damn, no, they would, though.
Yeah,
you know?
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But this is stolen land.
I mean, is in all of it?
I mean, yeah, of course, I guess so.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that it wasn't like they bought it from someone else. They just, like, basically claimed it and started selling.
Yeah, I think that was Roger Williams.
Yeah, that's kind of how the whole thing starts.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was tribes living there before.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you just kill them off and then you just claim their land and...
That's what the colonists did.
Yeah, put sticks and wire around and it's like, yeah, give me $2,000 for that plot there.
Yeah.
Even though it's smaller than the one next to it, but because you're even poorer, I'm going to sell it even, at a higher price just for you.
Fun facts.
Joseph.
Such fun facts.
Joseph Smitherens.
Josiah Smitherens.
Josiah Smitherens.
Yep. So the house that we're talking about today, the Conjuring House, was completed in 1736, and that is 40 years before the Declaration of Independence was signed. So the house itself was even built before, like, our country completely was.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
That is an old house.
That's insane. That's a really cool fact to go into.
And we're going to it.
Shit. Yeah.
We are going to this house that exists, like, was, like, thriving before America was, like, completed.
That's
yeah.
That's
my mom's
nutty.
Gonna like that fact.
Yeah,
my mom loves history.
Yeah.
So as we know, women had no rights to property at this time. So this estate transferred through marriage from the first colonists, the Richardson family, to the Arnold family. So from the Arnold family, it went to the Butterworths. I don't know. I don't know if it's those Butterworths.
I mean,
I'm
laughing respectfully, don't fucking come and haunt me or anything. But
and then to the Kenyans, and was eventually purchased by the Perrins in the 1970s, which we will talk about them.
1970s?
Yes, but after the Perrins, it was purchased by the Schwartz family, and then Norma Sutcliffe. Then in 2019, Corey and Jen Heinzen bought the property, and they were the first to basically, like, market the place. They sold day tours and allowed investigations. And then in 2022, Jacqueline Nunez purchased the property and is continuing to grow the business.
Which is who we may or may not meet.
We might meet her on Saturday.
Right, yeah.
We're not sure.
Right, because she's the owner, so she
right.
can
and there's not
give us the ins and outs.
Too many, like, guides. Like, I feel like the, like, owner of the place would have to be there for, like, overnights. Because there weren't, like, a lot of options. Like, they don't do this that often.
Right, they don't. And, I mean, they also, I've seen from videos I've seen of The Conjuring, I've seen that they do have cameras in some of the rooms. So she can also just be monitoring it.
True.
From, like, her van outside of the house or something,
Yeah, I don't know. But we'll see.
I also wouldn't be mad if anyone stayed at the house with us.
Power in numbers is what they say.
I'm sure they're like, yo, Mm-hmm.
Well. Yeah, we'll see. So it has survived the King Philip's War, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and the growth of the industrial age in America. Not to mention, I'm sure the local tribes were not treated too kindly during the colonization that happened, which we've kind of already discussed.
Well, the King Philip's War, that's the one where basically it's like white people, I guess you can say, and like they were fighting against the Native Americans.
Yeah. So there's a whole like war, and then just think about everyone taking all the land too. Right. Like when it wasn't even the war, they were just killing them to take the land.
Yeah.
And then the war. Yeah. So yeah, just a whole lot of terrible things and death went on here. So I did mention that we would make it back to the Perron family, which is the family that the first Conjuring movie is based on. But first, we need to talk about the Arnold family. Now, the Arnolds owned the property longer than anyone, actually. 8 generations lived at the home, and during this time, at least 10 people died. And this is according to the Black Book of Burrillville, which stands as the town's public record of that like time period.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously there could be some like inconsistencies or whatnot, but they at least like have it written down, you know, it's not just hearsay.
Right.
So the deaths include 2 hanging suicides inside the home.
Damn.
A poison suicide, 2 drownings, and 4 men who froze to death. Now, there was one other Arnold death that I guess was reported in another city. A young girl was unfortunately killed from being R-worded.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so those are all the Arnold deaths that took place during those, like, 8 generations.
That's a lot of suicides.
Yeah. It's really sad.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. Like, that's just like a dark spirit.
Yeah.
Like, for suicide, that's like a dark spirit.
Yeah, because if they're stuck there, they're clearly they didn't want to be there in life, and now they're stuck there in death, and that's just a lot of bad energy for sure. Yeah. So it is now time to get to one of the most famous hauntings of all time and what inspired the Conjuring film. So it all started in January of 1971 when the Perron family moved into the 14-room farmhouse. The family consisted of parents, Carolyn and Roger, which also I just realized Roger is like the name of the first guy that like tried to do stuff with this land. I wonder if, interesting. Okay. So the parents were named Carolyn and Roger, and their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. And all of them started to notice strange things happening in the house almost immediately after moving in.
Perrons, this is the 80s.
70s.
70s, right. Okay.
So it started small. Carolyn would notice the broom moving from place to place on its own or just go missing entirely. She would hear scraping against the kettle when there was no one in the kitchen, and she would find small piles of dirt in the center of a newly cleaned floor. Now, the girls would mostly notice spirits around the house, most of which were harmless. They would even play games with these spirits, but some of the spirits were angry. So there was one spirit that was the worst of them all. This spirit was depicted in the film as a woman named Bathsheba. So we'll get into who Bathsheba was in just a bit, because there is an interesting story there that is kind of up for debate. But regardless of who this spirit was, it absolutely tormented the Perron family. And Andrea Perron, the oldest of the 5 daughters, had this to say about it. Whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position.
Damn.
Which, when I was doing these notes, it made me think, because we were talking about The Conjuring maybe like a week or 2 ago,
right?
And you were like, but for what? Like, why were these like spirits so angry? Why did they attack like the parents like that intensely, you know? And maybe that could be a potential reason. Like, the spirit was intimidated by the matriarch of the family and wanted to, like, you know,
Just keep the husband to herself.
Maybe, or just the house.
Because, even in the film, the husband doesn't really experience anything.
He doesn't really until the, end.
Yeah.
He's not really there for most of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. So Bathsheba Sherman, she lived on the property in the mid-1800s, and she was rumored to have been a Satanist and a witch, because she was supposedly, allegedly, a distant relative of Marytown Esty. She was accused of witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yeah. Yeah.
So, but also, we'll get into it when I do cover this topic. The Salem witch trials, the reasons that these ladies were accused were very silly.
Right.
And not most of them, if not all of them, probably were not witches,
Right. I mean, this is all still speculated too, because we don't know either.
Exactly.
Because you never know. Even today, you don't really know who is respectfully, a witch or practices their Wiccan religion.
Right.
Which, to each his own, I don't.
Yeah, it's not the 1600s anymore.
Yeah,
that's
no.
for sure. So Bathsheba, she was rumored to have been responsible for the death of a baby that was in her care, and the child had a wound on the back of their neck that was consistent with a sewing needle. It was believed that she was sacrificing the baby to Satan. Supposedly, she went to trial, but no evidence was ever produced to support this claim, and she was found not guilty.
Yeah, what if it was just a mosquito bite? What if it was just a spider bite, a mosquito bite, a bug bite, and the baby got poisoned? If it was a poisonous animal,
it's possible.
And I'm not defending her.
No, I know.
I'm also not saying possible. That the court was wrong or right. I'm not saying anyone's. I'm just well.
Right. So, it was also rumored that she hanged herself on the property that the Perrins would eventually own. Even though she did actually live a couple miles away, she didn't live on the property or right next to it or anything. But like I said, and you're hinting at, the story is up for debate. So Bathsheba lived to be an old woman, dying 4 years after her husband, and she was buried next to him and was given a Christian burial. Now, this absolutely would not happen if she was ever even accused of practicing any kind of witchcraft.
Right.
So, even if there was, even a trial where she was 100% found not guilty, she still wouldn't be given a Christian burial if she was accused of witchcraft in any way.
Right.
So, it's likely that some local townspeople just started this rumor for some reason, and it was only actually made worse during the Perrin haunting when the Warrens stepped in. Well, but we will get to them in a little bit, too.
Well, I kind of have a theory. I feel maybe she did and I'm just all this is just respectful. I don't mean to disrespect any of the deceased or anything, but maybe the husband had an affair with her, and then she knew where they lived because it seems like it's a small town.
What husband?
Is this not the?
Are you good, babe?
Is this not the parents?
What are you talking about? No, this was in the mid-1800s,
okay,
remember?
Okay, but she was a babysitter too, right?
Yeah, this baby was in her care. I don't know whose baby it was.
Right, so what if the husband of the lady's baby? What if there was an affair and Bathsheba just hung herself in his backyard to kind of be I'm showing you kind of thing, You're not leaving your wife and you played me, so I'm gonna fucking do this in your backyard so you can always remember me.
Maybe, or maybe she just hung herself because she missed her husband. That could be a thing too.
Right, but why in his house?
I don't even know. I don't even know who was living. It might have been the Arnolds, someone from the Arnold family that was living there at that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe one of the men there was played
yeah.
her, and then she was just it was an act of revenge.
Spite?
Yeah, spite to kind of be a 13 Reasons Why kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
And then just everyone else to prove for this man, probably that man that had the affair with her, started the rumor that she was a witch.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he was like, nah, that bitch was crazy. And then because she died for his love.
It seems
and
though,
he probably started the rumor.
What seems like the most, of course, like the way I'm thinking, what seems the most logical though is that the rumor wasn't even started until after she died.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And he probably
started it after she died.
the fact, because he knew that he played her and she did this because she loved him. But he was just passing it off as like, nah, she was crazy. Yeah, I knew her, but she was crazy. Why would she hang herself in my backyard? But it was because she really loved him and he played her.
Wow. You would turn it into like a novella.
But I mean, we don't know, and
nope.
I'd like to think that, there's two sides to every story, so maybe she's not as crazy as they thought she was.
No, I don't think she was. I think she was just a normal woman, honestly.
She was probably just hurt.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I was gonna say we'll see, but we probably won't ever know. So
right.
Anyways, back to the parents, which was the 1970s,
right?
Not the mid 1800s.
I just feel like we're jumping back and forth.
Yeah, that's
kind of hard to
that's true.
follow.
So now we're going back to the parents. They lived there in the 1970s. They were experiencing like all the little things, like the broom moving from place to place, and the pile of dirt in the floor, and seeing spirits, and the girls were playing games with the spirit. So the family experienced other spirits besides Bathsheba or whoever that angry spirit was, that weren't very nice either. Some smelled like rotting flesh, and some would cause beds to rise off the floor and shake. Roger, the dad, would enter the basement and feel a, quote, cold, stinking presence behind him. There was an apparition of a woman with a broken neck. The family would hear voices and find bruises and other injuries that would appear out of nowhere. And so after about almost 3 years of this, obviously the word had gotten out about these things that had been happening to the parents. And in October of 1973, the night before Halloween, Ed and Lorraine Warren showed up at the parents' front door.
Oof, okay.
So, Ed and Lorraine Warren, if you haven't heard of them, were pretty much the most famous paranormal investigators at the time. Ed was a demonologist and Lorraine was a clairvoyant. In 1952, they founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, which was the oldest ghost hunting group in New England. They claimed to have investigated over 10,000 cases in their career. But, along with a few others, the Perrin case is what boosted their popularity immensely.
So a demonologist is like someone who, basically majors in, learning what demon entities are out there. Experiences.
Yeah, except it's not like, they can't, really go anywhere.
They don't go to school for it. No, they don't go to school for it. They're just,
Yeah, it's essentially, the idea of the priest that would give an exorcism kind of thing, but they just study everything there is to know about that field, I guess.
Right.
You could say.
And then a clairvoyant is kind of like a psychic.
Yeah, a medium. They can see and feel things not in this realm. Yeah, that's the word I was gonna say. And they can see sometimes. I mean, I think Lorraine was able to see things in the past that have happened in a location. Yeah, so almost immediately, Lorraine declared the source of the paranormal happenings in the house as Bathsheba Sherman. Because as I mentioned before, the rumors were pretty, only exacerbated when the Warrens came in about Bathsheba.
Right.
So the Warrens stayed with the parents for a while, and after some investigating, the Warrens decided to conduct a seance. So this seance led to Carolyn, the mom, being possessed by a malevolent spirit. She spoke in a different language, levitated off the floor, and was thrown hard across the room into another room, almost killing her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's a strong,
energy, for sure. Yeah.
And, just to witness that, especially if a kid was there.
Mm-hmm. So after the seance, Carolyn's husband, Roger, was so mad at the Warrens for what happened to Carolyn during the seance that he punched Ed in the face and kicked him and Lorraine out of the house.
Damn.
Yeah, so
rightfully so. I mean, like,
well, yeah,
if someone messes with your wife,
they're the
like,
ones that wanted to do the seance.
Right, but for someone that doesn't understand what's going on, it's easy to blame whoever really, it looks like they invited it.
I mean, they kind of did. Like, that kind of thing wasn't happening before the seance, you know?
So exactly. So, rightfully so.
Yeah, no, I get the anger, for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah, they would be getting bruises and stuff, but no one had been, like, thrown across a room yet.
Right.
Jeez.
Which is probably where the papers where you have to sign, like, okay, you might get possessed or be killed.
When we go visit the Conjuring House,
yeah.
There's like waivers and stuff.
Which is probably where the waivers started.
Yeah, it makes sense. I get it. I wouldn't want to be sued either. So even though this obviously traumatized the family, they actually stayed in the house for another 7 years.
Damn, just like enduring all that.
Mm-hmm. And then be like, I mean, like, you know, they might not have been able to like afford to move.
Right.
You know, so it's like tricky in that situation.
I would have called up my mom. Like, Mom, I don't know what to do.
Help.
Yeah. Like, can we go move in with you? Can you? No das posada, please. Por favor, I was gonna say. Por please.
Por please. So unfortunately, Andrea, the oldest parent daughter, and her younger sister, Cindy, had snuck out of their beds on the night of the seance and witnessed the whole thing where their mother was thrown across rooms. Like, of course, you predicted that too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Poor girls saw this happening to their mother. But Andrea has actually remained very active in regards to the house, and she has written 2 books about her family's experiences so far. The series is called House of Darkness, House of Light, and Volume 3 is already in the works.
Oh, damn.
So the movie The Conjuring came out in 2013, and Andrea had this to say about it. I think it's an informative film. It's beautifully done, but there's just so much more story to tell.
Oh, I bet.
The producers actually drew inspiration from her books, as well as experiences Lorraine Warren had shared with them.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like you can kind of see that too.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, it was like well done.
It was a very well done film.
Yeah, the director did a really good job. And you can tell, we'll talk about this later, sorry.
It's okay. So there are some things that Andrea refuses to talk about, but she does talk about a lot and will even still visit the house. She talks about what was true in the film and what wasn't. Like she said, there was no exorcism like in the film. It was a seance that went very wrong. What they portrayed in the film was not what happened. It was scarier. It was the most terrifying night of my life. Apparently the parents believed that Lorraine opened a door she couldn't close. The Warrens were convinced that Bathsheba was the evil spirit that attacked Carolyn, but Andrea isn't too sure, and she believes the Warrens gave Bathsheba a bad rap, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. Yeah. Like, I don't know the story or anything, but I don't know. It seems like she was just, like, a woman in distress. And it's just, like, easy to fucking...
Yeah.
Scapegoat kind of
it's literally just hopping on the bandwagon of the, like, mob mentality of the 1600s. Like, oh, yep, she was a witch.
Right.
Without knowing for sure.
For sure. And, like, not discrediting her either. The Warrens. Lorraine. Mm-hmm. Not discrediting her because, like, of course, we also don't know what she experienced.
Right.
But, I don't know. I feel like if you look up... Even back then, they were still, like, newspapers. You didn't have to go on the internet to find things. You just go to archives of the newspaper and find these things. Yeah. You know, and it's like, okay, but she could have kind of seen her name on an archive and then just blame her.
Or if she did, like, see something, you know, in her third eye or whatnot, she could have just seen the villagers or the townspeople spreading this rumor kind of thing, or like seen Bathsheba in distress because of the rumor and not gotten the whole story still. Like she might not have completely understood what she saw and just went with what it seemed like.
Yeah. Can go either way, I guess, huh?
Yep. It's a crazy story. But the family actually had done their own research and learned of all the death that had happened on the property. And they figured whatever possessed Carolyn could have been a number of spirits that Lorraine let in. There are a couple of benevolent spirits that I haven't mentioned yet. There was a man, boy, and dog that would all appear together at the top of the staircase and stare at a wall like it was a window, never making eye contact with the parents. This is what we call a residual haunting. If you're new here, a residual haunting is when the spirits are just doing what they would be doing when they were alive and they don't interact with the living. And then you have your intelligent haunting. This is where the spirit does interact with the living. That's what our next haunting is. April, the youngest daughter, she made a friend with a spirit in her closet named Oliver Richardson. He was her secret friend, and she did not tell the Warrens about him because she thought they might make him disappear.
Oh, fuck.
She found a little ghost friend. So sweet. Kind of creepy, but as long as it was a good spirit, right. That's fine, right?
Yeah, I think. I would just, as a parent, I wouldn't want to know about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just your imaginary friend, right?
Right.
But I don't want a name. I don't want a date of birth. I don't, you know what? No, I'm sorry, he can't come with us to Chuck E. Cheese. He has to stay, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. So Andrea says, for the most part, the family got used to the presence of the spirits. She said she even saw a spirit who was a spitting image of herself as an old woman dressed in 17th century attire. And she said, quote, "It means we can seriously consider reincarnation or living in multiple dimensions."
Fuck.
Yeah, it's wild. And Andrea seems very introspective. I like her.
Yeah, which, I mean, it seems like it's it's definitely possible. I believe in different dimensions and
right.
All that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe she does know something we don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
One time, Carolyn saw two men sitting in the dining room. One of them noticed her, got the other man's attention, and pointed at Carolyn. Talking about this event, Andrea said, "To them, she was the ghost. I always considered the house a portal, but not only a portal to the past, but to the future."
Fuck, that's crazy.
I feel like that's been talked about for a little, maybe, I don't know if I've heard it on a podcast or if we talked about it. The fact that when we see ghosts or just figures of someone else, we could be the ghost to them.
Yeah.
It's so crazy
I
to think about.
we've talked about this.
Have we?
Yeah.
It's just such a wild concept to me.
I mean, it's true, though, because if there's, different dimensions, we're not saying a different dimension at this time. Mm-hmm. It can literally be from the past or the future, too.
Right.
So it's damn.
Oh, my God. That's, kind of insidious, vibes, too.
Yeah, because that's what it is,
the
though.
Astral projection.
Yeah, but astral projection, that's just a realm of the afterlife. I believe in that because I've seen it. Right. I've astral projected, and I've dreamt of things like that, and seen it, and it's blue and gray, hue, and I've experienced reliving with my dad through that, where I'm not asleep and I'm not fully awake, and I'm literally walking through my childhood home. And my dad is there with me. Damn. And I can feel him and I hear him, and it's that's why that shit like that, I believe in it. Right. I believe in it because I've experienced shit like that where I'm fuck. And then I wake up and I feel exhausted because even though my body was asleep, my mind wasn't.
You went on a whole trip.
It's yeah. Dang. It's crazy. You definitely have to be in a certain state of mind to go into that trance too, where you're just it's kind of like hypnotic kind of trance to go to sleep in that state and know that you're not asleep, you're still awake, but you're just
traveling.
Yeah.
Dang. Whew.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, interestingly enough, most of the family has said that they would be willing to move back into the home.
Of the parents?
Yeah.
Damn.
Andrea said it's not really about whether or not they exist. It's how we perceive them. The experience taught me about life, death, and the afterlife. It's just such a huge part of our lives and memories. My mother once said, "We left the farm, but it will never leave us."
Oh.
And that was the story of the Conjuring House.
Wow, that deserves a round of applause.
Get a round of applause. Yeah. Yay.
Good job, babe. That was some good research.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was really excited about it. Like, I knew it was going to be a lot, and it was, but it like felt like it went by in 2 seconds for this one for some reason, because I was just so excited to do this topic.
Yeah. The Conjuring series, the movies, I guess we should have given a spoiler alert in the beginning if no one's seen it. But they were made very well.
They were.
And
I love these movies.
Yeah, they were my first like real spooky, like scary movie like series that I've ever watched, because Alyssa introduced me to them, basically. Yeah. I remember I tried watching it with 2 of my best friends when we had just graduated high school. We were like grown ass people. We were like 17, 18. And yeah, we got to my friend's shed with The Conjuring that we had rented out from a Redbox with a Little Caesars pizza. And once we like put it in and we saw the screen where it says play, options, all that stuff, it was just like the picture of like the tree and the house and the white background and the spooky music. And we all looked at each other and we were like, well, we also got Beavis and Butthead Travel America or Road Trip America. We should probably watch that instead. And everyone was like, yeah, of course. We should. I don't know, And so, yeah, it was
and then
like.
I came along.
And then Alyssa came along, introduced me to them. And I was like, you know what? I'll finally give it a fucking shot. And,
we're obsessed with them. And you know what? The funny thing is, I have my manager from when I worked at Pandora Jewelry in 2019 to thank, because she knew I liked horror movies, and I had told her I had never seen the Conjuring movies, and she's like, no, you need to watch The Conjuring. It is such a good movie.
You liked scary movies then.
I've liked scary movies my entire life. I just had never watched The Conjuring, and she was like, no, you need to watch it. It is such a good movie. And it was. No, it was like it probably is like my favorite, if not like one of my favorite horror movies.
We also have to credit James Wan, the director,
yes,
because you can tell. So throughout the Conjuring series, they changed directors, and you can tell which ones James Wan directed and which ones he didn't.
Yeah,
and I think
he directed the second Conjuring, right?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I know he came back for like The Nun or something like that. It
seems like similar cinematography to me, because the Conjurings, only the first one is about the parents in this house and everything, and so the rest of there's 2 more Conjuring movies, and those ones focus on Ed and Lorraine Warren, and that's like what Annabelle and the Nun, that whole universe, it's about Ed and Lorraine Warren, and that whole thing.
Which he also directed a couple of the Insidious movies.
Right, which we also like those too.
Yeah.
It's just a different universe.
I'm pretty sure he directed most of the Insidious movies, including the one where, fun fact, also Alyssa worked for the actress, one of the actresses in I think it's Insidious 2.
She's like, if you remember, it's like a little boy, or they go back in time to when this person was a little boy, and his mom is like overbearing, and so they show the ghost of the mom, and she's all scary and like screams with her mouth all wide open.
Yeah, she actually wished she had a girl, so she dresses him up as a little girl, and she's just like this really like bad,
domineering, scary
and
ghost.
So the actress that plays that, Alyssa, worked for her as a personal assistant.
I was her assistant for like a minute there.
Yeah, which was funny because when she said like, "Oh yeah, I'm working for Danielle," I was like, "Fucking Danielle!" Like no, she voiced a character in God of War, right? Like
that's what I heard about first, but I don't know God of War, so that didn't mean anything.
I knew her through God of War, and then when we saw Insidious, we were like, Alyssa was like, "Oh yeah, she came out in this movie too." We were like, "What the fuck? We have to rewatch it." And then she was also like randomly on True Jackson VP.
Oh yeah, we watched the a little bit of that
show. So it was just like funny,
interesting, fun fact.
But back to James Wan.
Yes, James Wan.
He directed a lot of The Conjuring. He directed Megan, the newer the robot thing. He directed both of the Nuns, both of the Annabelle movies, most of the Insidious movies, some of the Saw movies, La Llorona, Night Swim, Lights Out. A lot of.
What about the Conjuring movies?
The Conjuring for sure. The first Conjuring,
one, and then did he do the second?
The second Conjuring.
Okay. The third one does seem different.
I think that's when they switched directors.
Because that was a lot further down the line.
Right, but then he came back when they did the second Nun and like stuff like that, which was why I was excited to watch the second Nun, because I loved the first Nun, because the Nun is the scariest, spookiest movies out of the whole Conjuring series.
The universe. Yeah,
the whole Conjuring universe. The Nun is what spooks me the most. I'm also Catholic. And like I'm very like strong in my faith, like, so just a spooky nun in general. I also, fun fact, I have a tia that's a nun, my mom's cousin.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember she used to come over to my grandma's house in her nun outfit to try to recruit us.
Oh wow.
And like try to convince us to like go to the seminars and like do all this stuff. And for a moment there I was like, that seems kind of fun, like, but no, I mean, if you know me now.
I didn't know that you would be their first pick.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But yeah, anyways, James Wan, wonderful director.
Conjuring movies are where it's at.
Brilliant series.
And it's like, you're right, because like the Nun is scarier. Like the Conjuring isn't like that scary, but it's just such a good film. It's so good.
It's more suspenseful than like spooky. But the Nun, like if you've seen the Nun, like it's scary. There's creepy. Actually a meme of the Nun from the Mexico.
Oh yeah,
where it's like a carnival
ride,
and she's just like jumping in the center,
dancing. Oh
my god, I fucking love that video, dude. That shit just hearing the song just makes me like, can I find the song? Can I play it for the audience?
Sure, as long as we don't get copyrighted.
No, I'm gonna play it for like 5 seconds. Okay. So I literally found it saying, typing in Nun carnival ride. And oh my god, it says El último baile de la monja en la feria de Torreón. Oh, wait, that's not it. Is it?
I don't know. It's building up.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
she's vibing over there. All right. Okay. That's good. No copywriting here.
Sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, The Conjuring, A+. We love it. We are so excited to go and explore the home where everything happened.
Very excited, also a little scared. Yeah. I have blessed my my cross necklace, and I think I'm going to be the safest one there. So
yeah, we'll be good. Your mom gave both of us blessings.
She did. I asked her before we left. I was like, Mom, can you please bless us? Danos la bendición. And so she did. And so I was like, okay, I feel way better now.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah. Whatever helps you, babe.
Yo, Grammy's blessings cover you like for the rest of your life, bro.
Good. I'm glad.
Like if you don't think anyone's praying for you, your Grammy is praying for you. And playing for you. So but yeah.
We'll see you guys next week when we cover Lizzie Borden, which we will also be visiting that house.
Gave her mother 20 whacks. 40 whacks, and when she seen what she had done, she gave her father 41, bro. But
what a bitch.
I'm excited. Yeah, what a fucking bitch, bro. Jesus Christ.
Allegedly, it's all alleged.
Ungrateful little bitch. We give you the fucking trampoline you asked for, and you fucking knock us out with the fucking axe to our head. Jesus Christ.
Is this because I overcooked the roast? Of course I have to reference Family Guy. But yeah, we're really excited. And again,
also,
this is...
I just apologize if like the energy was low today. We're just exhausted. Like we've said before, we're just like on the go and on the go. I also had like 4 hours of sleep last night.
Oh no!
Like
we're just not know that.
We're just no. I mean, I didn't wake you up for it. Usually I wake her up, but because I got this new video game, it kept me, company.
Entertained.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sorry if this episode was low energy, but
you were there. You were up there. You played some nun music.
Yeah,
like you're good.
Party till I die with my chin up.
All right, y'all. Okay. I need to cut her off. But yeah, like I said, we're recording this before the house, but by the time this comes out, we will have already visited the Conjuring House. We'll probably be posting something about it on the Instagram. Or maybe
this is our last episode, and we will not survive. Oh, no. We will become... No,
I hope we're coming back.
Of course. I was just trying to give some suspense.
Some spooky vibes. Yeah. Okay. Then yes, we're not making it back.
This is our last episode, and we will never be back.
Oh no!
But luckily, I have the power of God and anime on my side.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take probably Charizard.
Okay.
My Pokemon card. Charizard, Onix, Blastoise,
of course,
Venusaur, just to have like the main 3 there,
and I think it'll be good.
They'll help us fight it off.
All right, good. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
maybe Mewtwo.
Make sure you guys answer our poll on whether you eat or drink soup.
Maybe
it's very
Pikachu.
Important. We have to know these things.
Just Squirtle to cuddle.
Still send in your suggestions, even though we have our next 2 weeks figured out what we're doing.
And Jinx.
Let us know what you want to hear in a couple weeks on the podcast.
Articuno and Moltres.
You send it to whatsyourfavoritescarystory at gmail.com. And we will talk to you guys next week. Stay spooky. Goodbye.